There are growing concerns this morning that Haiti could fall at any moment at the hands of violent gangs. Prime Minister Ariel Henry left the country last week. Since then, armed gangs have attacked Haiti's largest prison, freeing thousands of inmates. At least 15,000 Haitians have now fled the country's capital, Port-au-Prince, where gangs are believed to be in control of most of the city. Now, as violence escalates, the prime minister has not been able to return to Haiti, with more and more people calling him to step down. Haiti's most powerful gang leader, known as Barbecue, has already given an ultimatum to the PM. Resign or, quote, this country is headed straight to a genocide. For more insight into what's happening in Haiti, I'm joined by Hagar Chemali, foreign policy expert and political satirist. Hagar, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Emma. Great to see you. Anna, great to see you.
Always great to see you, my friend. So let's start with the prime minister. Gangs want Ariel Henry gone. Leaders in the Caribbean also want him gone. The U.S. even urging him to expedite the transition to a new government. What's the problem with the current prime minister?
Well, his issue is that he has overstayed his welcome, basically. Now, at the same time, I absolutely don't think he should step down to allow gangs to take over. But the issue is that there were supposed to be elections. He has postponed those elections, arguing that he needs to restore stability. But it ends up looking like a power grab when ultimately what the U.S. is trying to push for and others is just making sure that democracy remains upheld in Haiti. At the same time, you have at the moment 200 gangs that have overrun Haiti. They control 80% of the capital, Port-au-Prince, and the majority of the country in general. And that has been the case ever since the assassination of their previous president, Jovenel Moïse, back in 2021. And so since then, you've always had gang violence in Haiti, but since then it's been exceptionally bad. And while I do think this prime minister is trying to make a bit of a power grab, I also think that he does need to move ahead to elections that are free and fair and that are monitored by international observers.
Hagar, tell us more about Barbecue. Of course, that's the man leading the gangs in this violent takeover. How dangerous is he? What do we know about him?
Well, his gang and all the gangs in Haiti are exceptionally dangerous. Haiti is one of the most dangerous countries in the world. We just don't often think of it that way because we're more focused on these other conflicts that get more airtime, right? Ukraine and Israel, Gaza, obviously. But what's happening in Haiti is exceptionally dangerous. And what these gangs are doing are just widespread murder, kidnapping, and rape. And they are taking over areas, and when they take over areas, on top of it, you have people who are actively fleeing their homes to run away from these gangs. So on top of it, you have mass displacement. And the reason we should care, aside from the fact that we would care about this anywhere in the world, is that this is our hemisphere. Haiti is our neighbor, essentially, and this conflict contributes a lot to the increase you have in migration that you see at the southern border.
You mentioned Henry has postponed plans to hold elections, allowing himself to remain in power. Do you think that's just a formula for more violence in that country?
Well, it's almost like negotiating with terrorists. Gangs are really no different. And so on one hand, he needs to move ahead and pursue and hold these elections and not come off as though he's trying to grab power, or not come off as though he's trying to play the system. And at the same time, he needs to make sure that by having these elections that they are set up in a way where gangs don't get some kind of opportunity to seize power or pursue a coup when you have a vacuum. And that is the main issue here. The gangs, when they are calling for him to resign, it's because they want him out. They would like to seize control. When the chaos you have happening right now happened after 2 prison outbreaks that took place after gangs stormed them. And it was because the prime minister was in Kenya negotiating a deal where a Kenyan-led security force would help stabilize Haiti. They don't want that because that encroaches on their criminal behavior.
Such a dangerous and complicated situation. Hagar Chemali, we always appreciate the context. Thank you.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.